Hey guys, I do a lot of consulting helping people buy sailboats, and there are some struggles that everyone seems to have that I think we can probably solve a lot of them with a quick top 5 video. So this week on Everything You Need to Know, the top 5 essential tips for boat shopping. Yacht World's search functionality isn't very good, but it's super SEO friendly. What this means is that when you go to Yacht World, you get their search fields where, if you're patient, you can narrow down some boats and likely, eventually, maybe find what you're looking for. This is the front end of their website, and they keep changing it. If you've been having trouble with that, I have a solution for you. While the front end of Yacht World can be a little bit clumsy and have whole regions missing sometimes, the back end of Yacht World's website is actually very SEO friendly. SEO means search engine optimization. You don't have to remember that. And we can use that to our advantage when we're boat shopping. Instead of searching on Yacht World, we're going to search Google. As an example, Yacht World makes it very hard to filter down to just sailboats on the Great Lakes, for example. But if we Google search Great Lakes sailboats for sale and then click the Yacht World link, boom, we just get sailboats on the Great Lakes. And we can then use the Yacht World filters to filter it down by price or by length of the boat. Maybe you just want to target sailboats in Florida. Google it, Florida sailboats for sale. Find the Yacht World link and boom, just sailboats in Florida. Maybe you're in the Netherlands. Same deal. Yacht World doesn't let you search that. Netherlands sailboats for sale in Google. Click the Yacht World link and boom. Something else of note here. Yacht World just started this. The top 3 to 5 boats are now paid ads. So even if you sort by price, the top boats are still on top. These are ads that paid extra to always be on top. This is just a clever way for Yacht World to better monetize their already amazing website. And I don't think we should fault them for that, but scroll past these request info boats anyway. Brokers don't like selling sailboats, but they like money. You may have had good experiences with a boat broker, but largely they can be kind of hard to deal with when it comes to sailboats. They're not returning your calls, not getting the answers to your questions. You may be left with the feeling that they don't really care about you, and sadly that's kind of normal. This isn't every broker, of course. I know a few great ones, but here's the deal. Boat brokers make commission, and they can make a lot of money selling a 72-foot sport fisher in Fort Lauderdale, often at least 5 figures on a boat like this. So when it comes to the 40-foot Beneteau listed for $120,000, it kind of makes sense as to why they can't really be bothered. Also, sailboats are a tiny little part of the boat selling market as a whole, so they aren't really geared up to sell them very much. And us, as sailors, present some problems too. We can be a pesky bunch of people. We tend to be cheap, always looking for a deal, and we tend to be very picky about which boat we want. It honestly just isn't worth the effort for the broker most of the time. So how do we deal with this problem? The only way I know is this. When you're looking at boats in a given area, you'll notice the name of the broker on each ad. Here's a great example, McNally Yacht Sales in Jupiter, Florida. We see McNally all the time on sailboat ads, which means they have several of them. When you find a broker that seems to have a lot of sailboats, you're off to a pretty good start. Next, we're going to call the broker on the phone and be direct and give them what they want to hear. Hi, I'm Tim. I'm coming to Jupiter next weekend to hopefully purchase a sailboat. I notice you have several of them. My budget is $200,000. Can you show me what you have, please? Now, the broker heard sailboat by $200,000. They hear dollar signs, so inflate your budget enough to get their attention. Don't come off as a tire kicker, and don't waste their time because they work on commission and they need to make a living. But throwing a big number at them like this will get their attention, and they'll book an entire afternoon to show you all their sailboats. Depreciation points. This is boring stuff, but it is essential to know. People often get stuck on how old of a boat to buy or how new. And there are a few key rules that we got to follow here. First, the obvious one. Buying brand new is only for the rich. The depreciation off the lot, so to speak, sucks, and you lose a lot being the first owner. So we likely won't be doing that. But more realistically is the 5-year depreciation point. We don't think about this often, but charter companies offload all of their inventory of boats when they turn 5, flooding the market with great boats and making all the privately owned boats worth a little bit less. So if you buy a 4-year-old boat, be willing to lose a few percentage points on the value when it turns 5. The next dip of value is at 10 years, as some of the more bougie people out there would consider a 10-year-old boat to be too old, and they'll drop out of the market. But the big one, the huge point in depreciation is 20. We see 40-footers go for $220,000 down to $180,000 overnight when they turn 20, and there's a few key reasons for that. First, and the biggest one, most top-tier lenders draw the line at 20 years. So a 21-year-old boat is much harder to finance, decreasing the demand, decreasing value. Also, as a sailboat turns 20, it's just becoming due for standing rigging and sails, maybe even some engine and generator work. 20 is a big birthday for sailboats, and if you don't want to lose 40 grand, be careful. Also consider this, if you're buying a newer boat before it turns 10 or before it turns 20, when do you plan to sell it? Keep it for 5 years maybe. How old will it be 5 years from now? This is a great time to thank some really awesome people. The mission here at Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily, and I couldn't do this stuff without patrons. These are people who give a couple of bucks an episode to make these videos and all the research possible. A big shout out to all the existing patrons who have gotten us this far. If you want to help out, please consider becoming a patron. Resale values. Island packet versus Beneteau type boats. And yes, we have to look at resale value, and I will keep it brief because I know it's boring, but bear with me for like 30 seconds here. Boats like Island packet hold resale at an almost insane level. They almost don't lose money in a lot of cases. It would be feasible to buy an 8 to 10-year-old Island packet and not actually lose any money at all when you sell it in 5 years, other than, of course, what you put into it in upgrades. Any upgrades are just a hole in the water. You'll never get it back. Whereas Beneteau or other white plastic production boats lose value over the years more quickly. It would be very hard to not lose $5,000 a year on a white plastic boat. But here's the caveat. Not many people are shopping for Island packets or Halberg Razzie or Swan. We said earlier the sailboat market is a very small part of the overall boat market. But the market for big, heavy ocean-going ocean crossers is even smaller. Watch how fast a Catalina 380 sells compared to an Island packet 380. I could sell the Catalina in a month. The IP? It might take 6 or more. It's a very small number of people searching for big boats like that. In the end, you might lose 10 grand just sitting on the boat while it's for sale. And it may make you wish that as an investment, you bought the Beneteau. Mileage is different. A lot of people I consult with buying boats think of boats kind of like cars. And that's sort of right, but also sort of wrong. Cars have mileage, and it's an easy way to know how much life is left in that car. But boats don't. Fiberglass hulls last more than 50 years, so the age of the boat is significantly less relevant than the age of your car. However, boats do have some key mileage measurements that we can actually look at, and those are the age of the rigging, the age of the sails, and the engine hours. For example, a 20-year-old 40-foot white plastic boat might be 180 grand, while the same boat is 150 grand. Why the dramatic difference? The more expensive boat likely has way less engine hours, or somebody's replaced the rigging or the sails. The rigging, sails, and engine have a finite amount of life. Good, well-cared-for Dacron sails, 15 to 20 years. Standing rigging on a monohull, 15 to 20 years. On a catamaran, 8 to 12 years. On an engine, a well-loved Yanmar will go about 10,000 hours before needing to be rebuilt or replaced. These are hard measurements that will devalue a boat drastically. If you're boat shopping right now and you need help and want to book an hour of my time, head over to ladyksailing.com/consults. I'd love to hear from you. And can you guys do me a favor and hit the like button on this video? Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below on your boat buying experience, your wisdom or warnings. And if nothing else, just say hi. YouTubers get lonely too. And don't forget, I have a second YouTube channel. It's called History, and I just dropped an episode on the America's Cup. Did you know that sailboat race is not American at all? It's called the America's Cup because the boat that won it originally was called America. It's her cup. I'll leave a link below. That's it for this week, guys. Until next time, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. I love you guys.